Hello watch fam, I'm the Chirpy Panda and welcome to my affordable wristwatch channel where we unbox, review, give first impressions and find out how to get those watches onto your wrists. Today I'm looking at the Baltic HMS 001. This is now a discontinued watch from the Baltic Watch Group. Is it Baltic Watch Group? I'm not sure. They've been around for a couple of years now and I believe a lot of the watch community love this brand. So this is my first actual Baltic watch. I've been looking at the Aquascape, I think it's called, and the HMS 002, but the 001 came on sale from the Reddit watch exchange page, and I thought I'd just jump in to see how this one looks, especially because it's discontinued. I really wanted the cream dial, but I got the Slate Grey dial. So let's jump into it, see whether I like it or not. I don't know, it's hard to say. From the pictures it looks amazing, so let's unbox this and give my first impressions. Hey guys, so in front of me is the Baltic HMS 001. This is a really big box. It's a big box for a boutique brand as well. Most of the boutique brands that I have seen or purchased from has boxes that are kind of small like this. So this is a welcome change. Hopefully it comes, the size doesn't matter as much. Hopefully it comes as a really nice package. Oh, would you look at that? That's really nice. This is like a cork. It's kind of like cork or something, I don't know. So it's Baltic vintage inspired watch. I forgot to mention that this is no longer available. I had to buy the second hand, and you basically cannot buy from the Baltic website anymore purely because it's sold out. It's no longer here. The HMS 2 is out, which I'm considering purchasing as well. Oh, it's a hinge box. The box itself is really nice. It's cork up here, and it's kind of like a cardboard or fabric-y thing here. Not fabric, but like fake leather. And here we are. This looks like a warranty card. That might be the person that purchased it. I better not show that. Dox that guy. Oh, it's a really nice information booklet. It's a guarantee booklet. And here's the watch. This guy packaged it like, wow. Okay, I'm just gonna take some time to rip this out. I'll be right back. Okay, I got through the glad wrap. Let me just take it off. It looks like the guy didn't wear it much. He did buy it a while back. He didn't specifically say what. This is very hard to take out like that. I wouldn't recommend. Why would they do it that way? It's very weird how they put the watch sideways. Normally it comes out like this. Why they didn't do it like this? Would have been much better. So this is a second-hand watch that I bought from Watch Exchange. I think it was on Reddit. It's been a while now. Like the reason why I'm forgetful about these things is this took a month and a half to get to me because I need to use a shipping package forwarder from the US because the dealer didn't want to send to Australia. So that was a little bummer. But I'm glad. Wow, I can fully understand why people buy Baltic watches, because it is something to behold. Let me give it a quick wipe. Now I've gotten most of the dust off and it does look very, very pleasing to the eye. Look, the dial itself on camera, from what I can see, it looks like it fades into nothingness, but in person it does pop. The actual sunburst dial pops. Before I get into it, let's have a quick look at the sizes. So the case diameter is, I'd say it's 38. Case thickness, 12.5. Lug to lug of 47, very respectable. I can definitely wear that. I can pull that off. And 20 lug width. Moving on to the case back. This uses an Miyota 821A movement. So it is basically the 815 movement, but the rotor itself is a little bit nicer looking, and then the actual movement itself is decorated slightly better with a bit of machining. As you can see, how the polish, I should say more machining on the actual movement itself. You can see these little patterns on it, and obviously the jewels that you can see nicely. On the actual case back, it says assembled in France, Miyota 218A. The movement, stainless steel, Baltic. It has 5 atoms of 50-meter water resistance, and it says self-winding or basically automatic, as you can see. Nothing much to harp on about. This is a very, very noisy movement. Can't hear it on camera, I guess, but in person you can hear the rotor spins around. But having said that, I've had way noisier movements, so that wouldn't be a problem for me. I feel like a lot of the case thickness comes from the crystal. It's like a really nice acrylic box cut crystal. So we're not having sapphire up there, which I kind of wish they did, but they call it, sorry, Hasselite. It's Hasselite glass, my bad. I thought it was acrylic, but it's actually Hasselite. The case is well done. It's very vintage looking. It's got like a stepped bezel, multi-stepped actually. Throwback to days gone by. Got a little ding there from the previous owner. The lug itself has a nice kind of horizontal or circular brushing motion on the actual lugs, and the bezel at the very top is very, very nicely polished. Moving on to the side, the case is finely brushed, let's put it that way. Oh, look at that, drilled lugs. Why doesn't every manufacturer of watches do drill? I know it's additional machinery, but this watch at 550 Australian, a retail, or 332 euro. Look, I don't know what that is in American, but I can only presume 450 US dollars. They can produce drilled lugs. You know how much better that is for changing straps? On the crown side, the crown is signed with B, obviously for Baltic, and it's kind of nicely polished. The sign part looks like it's etched in pretty well too. It's not like a very light surface etching. So this one I really like looking at, I should say. Moving on to the dial. As I mentioned before, it is a slate grey sunburst dial with, what do you call those hands? It's kind of like are they sword-like, baton-like hands? Well, the seconds is definitely white and baton-like, and the two hands are painted blue. I do not believe it is heated blue or flame blue. So at the top it has Baltic, I'll say painted, automatic at the bottom, very, very small, very, very fine, tasteful. There's a kind of like a chapter ring, or would that be a chapter ring? I'd say. Kind of like a chapter ring on the outside of it, with 12, 3, 6 and 9 as Romans. The rest of the hour indicators or indices are just a white dot. I am unsure if it's loomed. I'll probably have to check it. Maybe you just use a little bit of blue light to check. There are no lume at all on the dial, which, I mean, this is kind of like a dressy watch. I don't really expect or need it to have any lume, but nonetheless, because it's painted, I kind of wish that they did use a little bit of lume. But the Romans does give me this vintage vibe. I recently got the Polio, which has the 12369 as Romans. I have also bought the Marlin, which I'll review soon. It's not the 1236, it'll be another assortment of numbers, but it's really nice too. So I'm trying to look for a watch that has the whole, every single hour as a Roman numeral. That'll be absolutely stunner. Now the size itself, I feel like it's slightly big. Why does it feel so big? The case feels really big. Like the dial itself is too small maybe. So maybe the case needs to be smaller at 36 then, and the dial slightly smaller than that for it to look even more on point or more vintage. Now this strap is extremely, extremely supple. It feels so nice to the touch. It's got to be genuine leather. Yeah, does it say genuine leather? So it prints Baltic on the back. It's barely even used, this watch. And it says French calf leather, so that's why it's so soft. It's calf leather. Yeah, so far this is hitting all the marks in terms of the craftsmanship of the case. Finishing is very well done. The dial design is very well thought out. It does throw back, but it's also very legible. But I'm going to chuck it on the wrist now to see how it actually looks in person on the wrist. Before I do that, quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing the Saab 033. This is basically my go-to now recently. I've been kind of just putting this on and then ignoring a lot of my other babies. But until I find something that is as versatile as this, I'll probably wear this the most. Now having these two next to each other side by side, this is a 38mm case size or size watch as well. The Baltic, as you can see, feels like it wears a lot bigger, despite it being exactly the same. I mean, Saab 033 is an extremely well balanced watch. I think in this case, the lugs is probably too long, maybe? Is that why it makes it look a lot bigger? or it's too sharp and pointy. So it feels like it will overhang on my wrist for some reason. As a heads up, I have 6¼ inch wrists, just so you know. It's very slender, very small. If you've got bigger wrists than that, I don't believe you have any issues. So I'm going to take this off and move this over so you can see how it looks. And here we have the Baltic HMS 001 on my 6¼ inch wrist. I think I've had a little bit tight. Cutting off my circulation now. It's a little tight, but you get the point. Oh, I forgot to say, there's actually a little laser etched Baltic logo on the buckle. Very nice touch, very nice. It feels a little big for me, I don't know why. This is supposed to be thin and small, at least from what I've read. On camera, the Slate Grey, it feels like a little, is it pedestrian the word? It feels a little backgroundy, like it doesn't really stand out. It's not like I want the watch to really stand out, but honestly I kind of wanted the cream dial. I couldn't find it, unfortunately, and I just said, oh, you know what, this is pretty nice too. I'm half a mind about the Slate Grey, I'm not gonna lie. The case lugs, I feel it's a bit too long. Maybe you should just taper down a bit. It's a bit too straight maybe. Is that why? It feels very straight and I almost feel like it's too big for me. Does this look big on me? You guys leave a comment down below and tell me whether you think it looks big on my wrist. But anyways, let's flip the camera around and have my final thoughts. So that was my review of the Baltic HMS 001 in Slate Grey. I did get it mixed out of it being black and silver or what it was, but it's Slate Grey. Slate Grey. There's so many different naming conventions for something very simple. I guess just call it grey, but it is a slate kind of sunburst style. And I get it, don't get me wrong. It's a lovely looking watch, but what caught me off guard was that it felt a little bigger than I'm used to. It might be because I'm used to wearing like 38mm, like my Saab 003, Saab 33. I'm tripping up my words today, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so it feels a little big. However, the case finishing is actually on point, especially because I've been reviewing some really relatively low-end cheaper watches, and this does really stand out. I love the addition of the drill lugs. It is beautiful addition. I don't know why bigger brands don't do this, and brands $1,000 to $3,000 still don't have drill lugs. Is it that hard? This makes changing straps so much easier, manufacturers. Come on, watchmakers, make this happen. Make it happen. Make it a standard. So if they can make a lot more drill lugs cases, I think I'll scratch my watch a lot less, let's be honest. One gripe that I did have, I don't know if I didn't mention it earlier on, I should say. The myota movement, I did mention it was noisy, but I was just walking around with it and I just shake it and you see that? It's going crazy. What is going on? It's like a disco in there, but it kind of, this little Slate Grey dial with the, you know, blued hands, or like blue painted hands I should say, is actually amazing to look at. If you've got bigger wrist than mine, so I got 6¼ inch wrist. If you got 6.5, 7-inch wrist, I feel like this will be the perfect size. It just feels slightly big for me. Might be the lug to lug. I think it's the lug. It's too sharp and too straight. It's really straight, and because of that, I almost feel like it's about to protrude from my wrist. Like, not just quite there yet, but any more and it'll protrude and it just won't look very good. So that's my gripe with it, but that's because I got tiny baby wrists, and you guys should be fine. Besides that, like I said, the finishing is great. I love how it's got a sign B. The movement is okay. It's noisy, but it does the job. It's robust. It's easily serviceable. I can change the movement myself if I wanted to. I can easily buy it for like $30, so not a problem there. Or I can pay someone else to change it, obviously. So that's something that can be done. So it's a Hess-like glass, so that's great, I guess. I mean, sapphire would be better, but heck, I don't mind that at the slightest. Display case back is a nice touch, I believe, and the strap is very supple. It's actually a great strap. It would be better if it was a quick release, but having said that, the drill lugs help substantially. I feel like, I mean, I'll be able to easily change this. Poke, boop, comes out, put another strap in there, Bob's your uncle. This is a great buy. I'll have to wear a couple, like a little longer. The Slate Grey it's a mystery to me. It looks great, and as I said, from the camera, it almost feels like the dial disappears. Like you can't read. Like the white on the Slate Grey
makes everything seem a little hard to read the time. I think it's the best way, especially under glare, under certain lighting conditions. You can't see the numbers or the indices because the white on grey is too light, I think. So I kind of wish I bought a black one, and I definitely wish I got the cream one, because the cream one is the best looking one. I can't really find any secondhand ones, so hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? Anyways, that was my first impressions. I'll give it a couple of weeks and I'll do a proper full in-depth review, so I'll learn more about the watch. I'll get the in-depth understanding of Baltic, and then we'll take it from there, and I'll give a review then, so that you can see whether you should get it or not. Once again, I won't tell you how to spend your money. It's just how I feel about the watch. It's my first impressions. And if you like the watch, please consider hitting that like button. It does help the video get up the algorithm so that more people can be exposed to this watch. And if you haven't already subscribed, I post on a weekly basis, once a week at least, on watch reviews, unboxing, first impressions, and sometimes I do some custom watch like builds, if you can call it that. If you're into that, just hit that subscribe button so you can get up to date. Otherwise, you guys have been amazing. I'm the Chirpy Panda, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!